Welcome. What are the objectives for this video? First, analyze an algebraic expression, then use the commutative property, and finally use the associative property. And what is our first problem? For the algebraic expression, and we have an algebraic expression here, notice that it has variables and numbers. That's an algebraic expression separated by addition. And we'd like to know how many terms are in this algebraic expression. Well, we first better define what a term is. And a term or terms are parts that are separated by addition. So parts that are separated by addition, that's what a term is. And what do each of these parts contain? Well, the parts contain either a single number, so a number, and if we look at our expression, there's a term with just a number in it, or it may contain just a variable, and we have a term with just a variable in it, x, or it may contain both a number and a variable, a number multiplied times a variable. And if we look at our algebraic expression, better try to spell variable a little more correctly. A number multiplied by a variable, and there's a term with a number multiplied by a variable, 2x. So how many terms do we have? 1, 2, 3. There are three terms in this algebraic expression. Part B asks, what is the numerical coefficient of the first term? Well, let's change colors, but what is the numerical coefficient of the first term? What is a numerical coefficient? Well, the coefficient is nothing more than the number part of a term. It's the number part of a term. So if we look back at our algebraic expression, we can see that the numerical part of the third term is 2, for example. So 2 is the numerical coefficient of the third term. But how about the first term? The first term doesn't have a number in it. And so when that situation occurs, it's assumed to have a factor of 1. So we can write the first term as 1 times x, and the numerical coefficient then would be the 1. Next, in part C, what is the constant term? We need to define constant. What is constant? What is a constant? A constant is a term that only has a number part. It's a term without a variable. So a term, or terms, there's more than one, without a variable. And do we have such a constant term in our expression? We do. There it is, 4. So the constant term is 4. Finally, part D, what are the like terms? What does like mean? Well, like terms have the same variable factors. So like terms have the same variable factors. And we'll go back up and look at our algebraic expression, and I believe we have two terms with the same variable factors. There they are, x and 2x. They both have the variable x in it. So those are the two like terms. Next problem, use the commutative property of addition to write an equivalent expression. And we have 3x plus 2y. What does commutative mean? Commutative. Well, commutative, it means a change in order. Change in order. For example, the commutative property of addition, if we wrote down, say, 2 plus 3, well, that's equivalent to just changing the order and writing 3 plus 2. As you can see, 2 plus 3 is 5, and 3 plus 2 is 5. So 3x plus 2y, all we need to do is just change the order and write it as 2y plus 3x. The next problem says to use the commutative property of multiplication to write an equivalent expression. And the commutative property of multiplication means just change the order in a multiplication. So instead of 2 times 3, we would write that as 3 times 2. And in our problem, we do have a multiplication. It's 7 times the quantity x plus 4. We'll change that order to x plus 4 first, and then multiplied times 7. Next problem says to use the associative property to rewrite and then simplify. And what does associative mean? What's the associative property? The associative property means to change the grouping. Change grouping. And so, for example, for addition, we can use the associative property. Let's say we have 2 plus 3 plus 4, where 3 plus 4 are grouped. We can change that grouping and group the first two together, 2 plus 3, put those in a parentheses, and then plus 4. Notice that 3 plus 4 is 7, plus 2 is 9, and 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 4 is 9, so they are equivalent. And now in our problem, let's change the grouping, and let's write the 3 plus 5 in the parentheses, and then plus x. And now it asks us to simplify, so what is 3 plus 5? That's simply 8. 8 plus x, we added in the parentheses. Now the next problem, we're also to use the associative property, but for multiplication. And let's notice that 2 times 3 times 4 is equal to 2 times 3 multiplied times 4. 3 times 4 is 12, times 2 is 24, and 2 times 3 is 6, times 4 is 24. So in our problem, let's regroup and put the 3 times 5 in a parentheses, and then times x. And let's multiply then inside of the parentheses. We get 15 times x, and now that's simplified. Okay, we have analyzed an algebraic expression. We've used the commutative property, and we've also used the associative property. Of all these, maybe the most important is how to use the commutative property. That does it for this time. See ya.